We're going to talk about Mongo DB and Mongoose today. So Mongo DB, M in the mean stack, obviously. It is a NoSQL database. A few differences. First, there are no tables. There's no tables, no rows, which means no joins, which is a good thing. It also makes MongoDB a lot faster. So instead of storing a bunch of different tables with rows in it, you're basically storing JSON objects. And actually, if you look at deeper into it, it's actually, they call it BSON, which is binary, but it's essentially just like JSON. Just know you'll be working with JSON objects pretty much always with the mean stack. Let me just pull up a sample here. So once you install Mongo, when you start your Mongo server, you just do sudo, I call it mongod. It's Mongo D, but mongod. Sometimes will ask you for a password. Once you do that, that starts the actual server for the database for MongoDB. When you start it, you do nothing else in this. Very important tip. Never ever close this terminal without exiting Mongo, without exiting the Mongo server. Because if you close this and it's still running, it will continue running in the background, and then you won't be able to open up a new server because it'll be like, there's one already running, but then you can't find it, so then you've got to do this grep and this other stuff to find where it's running, kill it, to restart it. So just remember, always exit out before you close the terminal. Then what I like to do is just open up a new tab, and then open up the Mongo shell, which you just type in Mongo, and you get that. And there's a command in the shell, just say show DBs, and I've obviously got a few different assignments projects, so these are all the different databases I have, schemas. Now to use one, what's nice is you just simply say use, and let's go into Quoting Dojo. And you can say it shows switch to Quoting Dojo. What's nice is when you're in here, you can switch between databases without backing up. So if I wanted to go to this my first DB, just say use, boom, it switches to it. If I wanted to say use some database, that's not in my list, Mongo will automatically switch you to it, which is weird because it doesn't exist. But if you show DBs now, where is it? Oh wait, where'd it go? It should be in there. It creates the database, probably because I haven't put anything in it, it's not showing it. But if you try to use a database that doesn't exist, it'll create it for you. So let's go back to, say, Quoting Dojo. Now tables. In MySQL, you have tables like, say, for users, posts, comments, or in this case, users in quotes. In Mongo, they're called collections. Easy command, just show collections. And in Quoting Dojo, I only have users. And then inside of that, what you would have referred to as a row in MySQL, it just referred to as a document in Mongo. So let's just show users. The way you do that in the shell, always preface by DB, then the name of your collection, and here we'll just do find. And here are all the objects I have in my Quoting Dojo database. Kind of ugly. To make it look a little better, I don't know who thought this up, but you do db.collectionname.find.pretty, and it kind of cleans it up, so it makes it a little bit easier to read. So let's just say we wanted to drop a database, delete it. I'm just going to go through a lot of the basic commands, just kind of show you what it is. Let's switch data. Let's go to this some database that I created. Switch to it. I want to get rid of it. So once you're in it, you just do simply db.drop database. You want to be careful because clearly you don't pass in the name of your database. So if you're not in the right one, you might accidentally delete the wrong one. When something works, a lot of times it will return some to you. which in this case it says OK1, and that just means it worked, it dropped it for me. Alright, so let's go to a different one. Let's go to, this was my mean project. Show collection, you can see I got a lot more collections in here. If we wanted to create a collection, like create a new table, it's very easy in the shell. You would just do db.create collection. Let's just say I wanted to do stuff. Sure. OK1, so show collections, stuff. It created that for me. Now there's a bunch of other stuff you can do. You can go through all the commands that are in the platform. I won't go through them all because really, you're not going to be working directly in a Mongo shell very much. You're going to be using something called an ORM. But you've heard of ORM, you should have, in either Python and Rails too, if you've been through the Rails part. An ORM is Object Relational Mapper. Mongo uses Mongoose. It's actually technically called an ODM. Essentially does the same thing, but since there's no relations in Mongo, they call it ODM for Object Data Mapper. Now I do like to, however, keep the Mongo shell up because as I'm working in an application, I like to just go in there and just find stuff to see that if what I'm doing is actually changing the database at all. Now if you want to manually insert or change things inside of the Mongo shell, you need to be careful on updates. Say you had a user with all kinds of stuff and you went to update just their username. If you pass that in, Mongo will actually overwrite every single thing you have and just update it with that one thing. So you want to be careful of that. So let's go to Mongoose and let me open up a new tab here. I'm in demo. Let's just create a basic project here. So we'll say make dir, and keeping with my usual theme, we'll call it cars demo. Why not? CD into that. Nothing in there, so let's see, npm init-y. See, unlike yesterday, since I had -y, it just said yes to everything. So we should have, yep, package.json. All right, let's install the usual stuff we do, which is Express. And EJS. And let's see, body parser. I think it's with a dash. And now Mongoose. Mongoose is a Node module. So that you install just like any other Node module. All right. Oh, looks like my Mongo DB is old. I need to update it. Okay. All right. So all those have been added in there. All right. So let us create a server file. Yeah. Okay. And create a basic server, var express equals, does it require express? Okay, we need to make this a little bigger. There we go. Var path equals require path. And then we go var app equals express. Okay. So now let's go ahead and require Mongoose. So we'll just say var Mongoose equals require Mongoose. So this will import in the Mongoose module. And now what we want to do is connect to a database. So here let's just say Mongoose.connect. So this Mongoose is referring to the variable we just created where we imported the Mongoose module. In there is a .connect function. And what that will do is connect to our Mongo database. And development, this part's always going to be the same. So Mongo DB : / localhost, and then the name of your database. So here I'm just going to call it car demo. And again, this database does not exist. So when I start this and actually create some data, it should automatically create the database for me. So you don't have to worry about creating it beforehand in the Mongo shell. This will do it for you.
So really, the prerequisite for this is you have to have a Mongo DB running in your terminal.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, when you run this file, you do Node server.js, you're going to get an error saying can't connect to Mongo or whatever. So, yeah, make sure you're Mongod. You don't have to have the Mongo shell up. That's optional if you want to use it or not. But you do have to have the Mongod server running. Otherwise, this will give you an error saying it can't find it.
If you do have it open and you accidentally close that terminal by mistake, can you get rid? I mean, can you just get rid of it by rebooting?
Oh, you mean like completely shutting down, restarting your computer? I don't think so. Yeah, usually not, because there's other instances where it creates, well, I don't know if Mongo creates a file. Postgres has a similar issue where it creates a file, and if you close it, it stays on your computer, and anytime in the future you try to get on, it tells you, hey, I can't connect. But if it does happen and you can't connect, somewhere in here, there it is. Okay, I'll check the PC, but on a Mac, if you go to installing Mac at the very bottom, it basically tells you it's actually not that bad, as I said, but why even bother with it if you can avoid it? You just type in that command, and it'll give you, like, if it's running, it'll give you the ID number or whatever of that, and then you just kill it, and that should restart it. And that's on Mac. Is it the same on Windows? Let's see. No. It's a good habit just not to even bother with it, and don't do that. So let's go to Mongoose, and I forget. I'm going to continue on with this. So we go app.use, and this is the Express. Actually, I don't even think I need this because I'm not using a static file. App.set views, and what was it, path.join dir name, that was comma views. Hopefully that's right. And then app.set view engine, and again we're going to use EJS. I hope that's right. And let's just get a basic route here for a root route. Function res and res.render index. Okay. And we're not dealing with sockets today, so we can just simply do app.listen 1000 function console.log running on 8000. And let's just create a views folder really quick. And go ahead and make an index.ejs. Switch that syntax really quick to HTML. There. All right. Oh wait, what's that? All right. Where's my terminal? Oh, it's right here. All right, I'm already in there, so there it is. Nodemon server.js. All right, it's running. So let's pull that up really quick. And there it is. Okay. Did it connect to the database? It should have. It didn't give me an error, so hopefully it did. If I go to Mongo shell, I don't think it's going to show. Yeah. Even though it's technically going to create the database, it's not going to bother doing it until it actually has data to put in it. So, but if it's not, you'll get an error. So, right now, it's not giving an error at all. So, I think what would happen, let's just say exit. Let's exit out that. And let's just do this really quick. We'll stop that server. Let's go ahead and stop the Mongo server. All right, let's start up the app. Boom, crashed. Okay. So it starts running, but then it goes through the file, throws error, failed to connect to server, localhost 27, whatever that is. This is the database server that it's talking about. So let's just exit out. So that's what you'll get if you forget to start up your Mongo. Okay.
We also had a console log on like disconnect as well. Their events.
Oh, okay. Oops.
What's your password?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Just asking.
Yeah, no. I'll tell you later. No. Okay, let's start this back up again. Okay. Oops. Back to running. All right, so let's continue on here. Right now, today, we're going to do everything in our server.js file, which you can imagine later on will get pretty messy, but we don't have much going on, so it's fine right now. Monday, we're going to go into splitting this up to make it nicer, though. So, Mongoose. What Mongoose does, because Mongo is so flexible and has absolutely pretty much no structure at all, we usually want to have some kind of structure. You know, we want to make sure that strings are strings, numbers are numbers. We want to add validations. So you kind of want to give it a little bit of structure. So Mongoose lets you do that. First, what we do is create a schema. So let's call this var schema equals new Mongoose, yeah, Mongoose.schema. Recognize that new keyword right there? And do, oh wait, I have that right? No. There we go. Okay. So we're creating a variable called car schema. It's going to be a new object from this Mongoose that we got from the imported module. And that module, again, is another. There's an object constructor called schema. And this is where you actually do, if you remember MySQL, where you put in the name of your column and the type. This is basically what you're going to do here. So for car, what we're going to do is year, say number. We'll just do make and model. So make is a string. Model is a string. And now the only thing that Mongo and Mongoose makes for you automatically is an ID reference, and that's it. Obviously, it's still good practice to have timestamps. You can either manually create each one like this, and you would use type, what is it, date, and then say default, say equals, what was it? Yeah, date.now. Yeah, that's one way. Or the easier way, just do timestamps true. And Mongoose, basically, if you go into the documentation, which let's talk about that really quick, by the way. Both Mongo and Mongoose, they actually have pretty decent documentation. So this is Mongo DB, their site. And then here's Mongoose. So if you need to see the schema types, different things you can do with it, the docs are actually pretty good in Mongoose. So you can look up timestamps in here, but basically when you do timestamps true, it automatically creates created at and updated at for you, and you don't have to worry about it. Now notice one thing, that this schema is in the format of a JSON object. So just a curly braces, key, colon, value, comma, and that's all it is. Now notice how early I did, you can actually, when you give a value in the schema and you only give this data type, it knows that's the type. This would be the same as saying type number. That does exactly the same thing. It just, Mongoose lets you just put the type in there by itself. You only need to do this if you're going to add other options to that field, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so this creates the basic outline of the schema. And now, I want to do mongoose.model. Actually, I think that's small, yeah. So this .model function is going to take in two parameters. First, what you're calling it. I'm just going to call it car. And this is what you're going to call all your ORM commands on. Second thing you need to pass in is what schema you're basing this model. So this .model is actually creating the table known as collection in Mongo. And it's going to call that car. In Mongoose, automatically, if you looked at the collection, it will pluralize that for you and call it cars. Okay, so now we want to save our car. Mongoose.model car. Okay. Okay, so difference between these two, the first one creates the collection based on the car schema. And in the second one, since you're only passing in one argument, it's basically taking the name of that specific collection and putting in a variable so you can call commands on it to do different things. All right, so hopefully it crashed. Okay, it didn't like that timestamps. I must have did that wrong. I'll just go back the way I had it. You can look that up if you want. Created a type date default date dot now. Okay. Back up in business. All right. So let's go ahead and let's create a basic form here really quick. Go back up here. Still running. All right. So let's just do a basic form so we can actually add in cars. So action, we'll go to cars, method post, input type text. This will be year. Oh wait, forgot my labels. Actually, I'm not even going to worry about styling here. Year. Label, what I do, make. Type text. Name make. Label and model. That's all I had. Input type text. Name. Model. And our submit button. Type submit. Add car. And there we go. Let's refresh the page. All right. So we got our form. So what's going to happen? Cannot post cars because I have not created that route yet. So let's go into our server and actually I think, let me just do this. App.post, and we're sending it to cars. Function, rec.res, and let's console.log, see what's in that rec.body. everything's still running. Oops, cancel. And submit. Oh, undefined. So it's not sending it correctly. I think, okay, I think that's because I may need the routes after this. Is that right? Let's find out. Put in some basic data. Undefined. Okay. Let's see here. App.postcars, console.log, rec.body. What am I missing here? Form action cars method post.
Did you bring in body parts?
Thank you. That's what I was missing. Body parser. Let's see. I forgot what that looks like. Oh yeah. Yep, I installed it. I just didn't add to the server file. So, yep. Body parser equals require body parser. Yep. What's the app.use? Yeah. App.use body parser. URL encoded. No, some kind of object. Oh, and print extended true. And all right.
Yeah.
Let's try that again. Oh, broke something. Okay. I think I have a comma that doesn't belong there. Oh, it's byparser.url encoded. Dot. Okay, back running. And there it is. Let's just add that in. Something happened. There it is. Okay, now we got it. And oh, it's passing in the submit button. Okay.
Should it have the created app?
No, because that's going to happen when we save it to our database. Yeah, so that's in the schema. That's part of the default. So you're not going to see that here. Same thing like the ID. That's not going to be created until you actually save it in a database. Okay. So now we know we're getting our rec.body. So let's just do var auto equals. Okay. Now this var car that I started up here, this is basically going to be a constructor based on the schema. So I use the keyword new. So this is, I'm basically making a new instance of this car based on the schema. So new car, and we pass in the form stuff. So year equals rec.body.year, make rec.body.make, and model rec.body.model. And that should be it. Get rid of this console log, so I don't need that. And now this is where the ORM command, so we've created our instance of this car, and now we want to save it to the database. So auto.save, and, oh, function.
Before you do auto.save, see if there's an ID on the car.
Console, so let's log auto. Let's comment this out. Did it run? Oh wait. Yeah. Let me restart this.
I actually think that once you put it into a Mongoose object, it does pre-generate an ID.
Okay. Nope, that was just, yeah, no. Wait, why is it doing that part though? Hold on. Oh, duh, I didn't save the file. Let's try this again. Yep. Okay, so it does. I guess I was wrong. Sorry. Also notice that ID in Mongo is always prefaced by an underscore. So whenever you reference ID, don't forget that underscore part. And then here's the created so well, it's good to know. I did not realize Mongoose already does that for you. So now, let's just run this really quick. We still don't have a car demo database because we actually haven't saved anything. So let's comment this out. So we'll do auto.save, and we're going to pass it a callback. And this time we're going to, basically callback is going to look for if there's any errors. And we just say if there is an error, let's just console.log it, see what it is. So let's do that. Go back here. Okay, add a car. I think it did something. So let us check our database. First, show DBs. Oh, see, something must have happened because our car demo database now shows up in here. So let's use car demo, switch to it, show collections. It created that cars collection. And notice how it made it lowercase and pluralized it. And that's basically when it made it right here, mongoose.model car. It takes this, lowercases, pluralizes it. So, and then let's do db.cars.find, just everything, .pretty. And there's our car.
When it renames the collection like that, when you reference it in your code, do you have to call it like that, or can you call it the way that you defined it in your code?
Now, when you're going to reference it, you're going to call it by this variable right here.
And it just knows that car is really lowercase cars with plural.
Yeah, 'cause that's this part right here. That's what, however they built this .model function.
So it just throws an S on the end. So, I mean, if you were creating a table called pass, it's going to be passes. Passes.
Yes, Rails does the same thing.
Yeah.
It's convention of making any sort of table for document store.
So lower.
Because you never have a table of just one thing, right? So it would be cards that.
What was that?
No. Okay, basically, if you just do, this is only when you're working in Mongo shell. If you just do .find, look at how it makes those objects. Yeah, so it's a little bit harder to read. So when you do the .find .pretty, yeah, just makes it a little bit easier to read. So you can see everything.
So if you did call it cars initially, would it add the extra S onto that? And ending it in two S's in the Mongo DB?
Possibly, I think.
It might use it as, you call it, it has pretty good, like if it's a person, it will probably change people in the database.
Okay, so
But
it
if you
knows.
use something that's already pluralized or you can't pluralize, I think it ends up using that literally. So I think it'll use car.
So it knows cars is plural, so I don't need to change. I don't need to add.
It knows it can't pluralize it.
Okay.
I think is a better way of stating it, because there are some words that will have a hard time pluralizing, and you'll see that that might create weird database names or something. But most of the time, because you call it by a variable, it won't matter.
We'll just test it out, just see what happens.
Like, what if you did goose? Would it automatically rename it geese?
Let's try it.
Why not? Var.
No.
Goose equals mongoose.model. And this reference is goose. And I don't know if it'll create this code. Okay, not till we save something. So,
Couldn't you just keep it simple, just change your car up there and just change it to Goose?
well, it's already created the collection now, so that might throw me an error. So let's see. Let's just create our own thing. Let's just say var bird equals new goose name Donald, which I know he's not a goose, but I'm thinking on the fly here. And bird dot save. Let's see if this gives me an error. What's it gonna do? Gooses. So not quite smart enough. All right. What's in there? db.gooses.find. Okay, that threw it in there. So if you want, we can check mongoose.model gooses. And let's go in here, refresh. Okay, so semi-smart, I guess. All right, let's get rid of this because this is gonna get.
What if the word actually ended in S? Something like if you were trying to create a table called pass.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Pass. Oh, okay.
Just remain pass.
Passes. So, guess it's hit and miss depending on the word.
Well, the last two letters are S.
Yeah.
It's SS.
All right. Yeah. Converts like country, the Y to IES, and yeah. Okay. I didn't delete anything I needed. No, just in fact. Okay. So we know we saved it. I think I've reloaded things multiple times, so I've actually got a couple db.cars.find.pretty. Okay, I created it twice, but that's okay. Okay, so that's saving in the database. And then what do we want to do? Notice the thing didn't refresh because nothing happened. So at the end of this post, let's just res.redirect. We'll just go back to root. And now this form should at least refresh. Shadow. Okay, form refreshed and it's been added in. Okay, so that's now saving to the database. Let's go ahead and retrieve it now. So we're going back to this root. So why don't we just pull up everything that exists in the database beforehand? So we will say we have our car. So we're calling our commands on that. So I'm going to say car.find. And here you're going to pass in your parameter. What do you want to find? If you just do an empty object, it's just going to get you everything. And then pass in your callback. And you're going to get one of two things. You're either going to get an error or you're going to get some data back. And this ORM command knows that you're going to get these two parameters. If there's an error, something will be here. If not, then you know you got your data. So you'll do this a lot. If error, we can just console.log error. This will come into play with validations here. I'll talk about them a little bit. Else, What do we do? Well, let's first see what we get back. Data. Actually, let's move it because we don't want to render this. Just put it right here. And just like yesterday, when we were passing data back and forth, we passed JSON objects. Everything is a JSON object. So we're going to pass key of cars is equal to that data. So let's just see what happens. Just refresh this page. Nothing's going to show here because we haven't messed with that page yet, but we did log data, so this is what we get. So since there's multiple, you can see it's an array of JSON objects that we have. So now that we know what we're passing to the front, let's go ahead and come in here and say under the form, we will do, okay, and this is back to those squids. First, the baby squid that cannot talk. And we're going to do a loop. I love that baby squid don't talk thing. We'll just say for X and cars. Is that right? Is that how I passed it? Yeah, cars. So for X and cars, open that up. Close this out. This ending brace needs to also be inside of the baby squid. And then inside here, we're just going to, for each one, do a paragraph. And inside of that, have mama squid echo out, what was it? Oh, cars of X, because we're going into each object. Cars of X dot year, and just copy that. So we're going to do this for each part. Oh, yep. And you copy that again now. Really? Oh, I just did Command Shift. All right. All right. And change this to make. Change this to model. And hopefully now, there they are. So that is displaying it. What if I only wanted one thing? Well, let's go in here and let's just say car.find. Here's an ORM command called find one. And you want to find, let's just say, we want to find the first car that's a shadow. So you put in the key value you're looking for, which in this case that was model shadow. And let's see why we may get a possible error here. Let's just see what it returns. Yep. We got an error here. Why did we get an error? Oh wait, cannot read. Oh wait, this is why. Because find one. Okay, when we did find, it will give you everything regardless of how many it gives you. It's going to be an array of objects, even if it's only an array of one object. Find one, it knows you're only looking for one thing, so it's like there's no point putting it into an array because you're only getting one. So if you notice here, no array. It's just the object by itself.
So find one was not a variable that you were. That's actually like limit one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a ORM command, a Mongoose command. That Mongoose has available to it. And yeah, it always, so if I had like, say I did find by make Dodge, and let's see if this server restarted. Let's restart.
Take out that for loop.
Yeah, we'll change that up. So Notice I did find one dodge. Now you saw in the database I've got 3. So find one, it'll just find the very first object that matches your query. So now the find one, actually I'm not even going to change this part. So all you would do in here is you would pass.
But Chris,
Yeah.
you can still do just a find and then return all of the ones that return the dodge, and if it's only one, it's still gonna return a JSON. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. Yes, let's do, because we know we only had one shadow. So just go back in here, refresh.
That way you always know you're gonna get the first one anyway, right?
Well, no, this is going to be different. So find one specifically says find only one. Whereas find, even if you have this parameter, it's going to give you all. So my other 2 were Daytona, I think. Or what was it? Yeah, so I have 2 Daytonas in there. So save that. Refresh. It'll find all instances that match that.
Okay, so but I was thinking you can still just display only the first one, so it still
Yeah.
find the first match based off of the record ID.
Yeah, if you wanted to do it that way, yeah. Yep. Yeah, you can play around with that a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so we got that part of it. So let's go over a couple more ORM commands. Let's just say, let's be able to allow us to remove a car. So in here we'll just do another form. And we're not going to be very restful here, so we're just going to send this to remove car. This is not the proper way to do it, but we'll put in here a, am I doing this right? It's been a while since I've done this. Actually, no, I don't need a form. I'm going to do a tag. And we'll go to I'm doing this part on the fly here, so forgive me if I'm a little off. Delete car. Well, that's creating a button, but I need to pass in a parameter. Yeah, well, the parameter is cars of x dot underscore ID, so that's what I need to pass in. Let me just go back to my form. So
value equal to the hidden field.
yeah, so let's just do this. Value equals cars x dot ID. Type submit. Value delete. I'll just get rid of this thing. And this will go to cars remove. Why not? Again, this is not RESTful, so let's just create that really quick. App.post. Let us say cars remove function res, and we're gonna say var car to delete, and we know we just need to find one, so we'll go car.find1, and we're finding it by ID equals rec.body.id, and let's make sure we're getting that console.log car to delete. And if we get it, once we get it, car.toDelete, and the ORM command for this is .remove. Okay.
Get your records. I mean, are there other built-in Mongoose commands like?
And okay, where were we? We're moving, so var console.log error, and we'll just go res dot. Where am I? Res dot redirect back to root. Okay. See if our remove works. Oh wait. Okay. Scared me there for a second. I thought I had an error. And probably might still do. Okay, here's our delete button. Oh wait, let me change this to get all. Go back to what we had. Find all. Okay. So I've got a duplicate Daytona. Let's delete one. Okay, what did it do? I don't know.
Reloading the database, requerying the database after you delete.
Should be. Ah, look at this. We got something really funky over here. Wow, okay. It is a lot of stuff. So what is this logging? We got too many console logs here. I love console logs, but at the same time, sometimes, there we go. Sometimes they start piling up and then you get too many, you don't know what the heck's going on. Okay. So that first part was console logging what it found. Okay, then it ran this query, so that is clearly, wait, where's remove? Oh, that was one creating. We didn't run that one. Okay, so card to delete equals card.find1 id rec.body.id. Wow. And okay, that was when it redirected, so it relogged that. So this card to delete, that's that long bunch of gibberish. Let me see what's coming in rec.body. Console.log rec.body. Refresh this. And there we go. Rec.body was empty. So that means my ID was never getting passed in. Pretty sure I need that though.
The value have to be in quotes.
Yeah.
You had the quotes before.
Yeah, I did have the quotes before and it wasn't. Oh, wait a minute. That's because, no, that's where I had it. Do I have, oh, wait. Name, I forgot my name. Equals ID. I think that was it. Let's find out. Oh, that must have been it because it just deleted. So let's go back down here. Wait. Oh. Where'd it go? Oh, it must have been already been at the top. Oh, and .update. Mongoose takes care of that problem I told you earlier. With if you were to update directly in Mongo, if you only update one field, it will delete everything that exists and just leave it at that one field. Mongoose realizes that, hey, usually you don't want to do that, so it will update only the proper field. What else do I got? I think this is getting pretty long here, so we need to wrap this up so you guys can get going. Oh yeah, On this save, we did this function error. So let's actually create an error. Validations. Validations are actually pretty easy in Mongoose. So when we do the schema, we just add, so let's say we have type string and we require the make. It's just simply required true. And that's it. So hopefully,
Default, like maybe a default and all that kind of stuff there too.
yeah, there's a lot of different options here. Well, like I just did and created at, I had default date.now. You can do defaults. You can do other validations in here, basic validations like min length, max length, things like that. For more crazier validations, Mongoose actually has a separate node module called Mongoose Validator, and that's got a more different validations that aren't not just your basic ones, a little more complex ones. Gee, I don't know, since I already created my schema, this may not work. Let's find out. Restart. Or it might. I think we can add validations in later on. So, was on make? I left it on make, right? Yeah, I did on make. Required true. So let's leave that open. What did it do? Nothing got added. So here it goes. We got, this is the error. So this is what happens. So you can add a validation after you've created the schema. Just learn that. We made the make required true. So when we posted to cars, we created this auto. Make is empty because the body didn't have a make. So it tried to save it. And when it tried to save it, it tripped the validation error, created an error, returned the error to the callback. And so the if statement sees there's an error, logs it, and that is this crazy thing we have here, which is validation error, car validation failed, and here's the errors, make, path make is required. And that's pretty much most of it. Oh, one last thing, associations. And I'm going to just go, let's go to my Mongo DB. I'm not going to do any examples, I'm just going to show it. So let's go to use Kobo grade. Okay, so you remember how the wall you had a user with a lot of posts, and with a lot of posts had comments, and you had to do these crazy queries to get all your information. I don't know if you've done in one cohort we did this, so we showed a query where we built an object to have everything in one place, made it easier. This does it for you. So let's just go to db.users.find.pretty. Okay. In fact, let's just find one. db.users.find first name Chris, because that's me. Okay, and then here's my posts. So what you do is you create posts and have an array, and then it saves the object ID of each of those posts. And then if you go into post, let's just grab that post here. So db.post.find underscore ID. I'm going to find by that. .pretty. Okay, so here's that post. And on the other side, when it's a one-to-many like that, the many post is just simply post pluralized. On this side, on the post side, always preface what it's referring to with an underscore. So this underscore user, that is me. And that is how you associate things in Mongo. Now here's the tricky part with Mongo and Mongoose. It's not two-way, meaning if you create a post and you have a user, it's not just going to automatically update the user with that post. You actually have to grab the user, and then you have to create the post with the user ID, and then you've got to actually push that post into the array of posts that the user has. Sounds kind of complicated. It's not that bad once you do it a few times, but just know that it won't automatically do it for you. And I think we'll end it with that because this has gone on for quite a while and don't want to hold you guys up too much. So any other questions?